Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to this live session. Welcome back to day 8 of our YouTube live sessions that we're doing here. It's so amazing to see the stories that we're getting out, the lessons that we're learning every single day where we are growing together. And that is why today I want to begin by sharing a very powerful story with you. This story comes from one of the coaches I'd coached a few months ago. And when he came to me, he was really struggling in his life. He was facing a lot of challenges, especially in his relationships. His career was okay-ish, like he was happy about it, but it was not where he wanted to be. And all in all, his life was a complete struggle. Now, that is why the topic for today's live stream as well, if you'd have read the title, is how to finally stop struggling in your life. Because there's a pattern that I noticed in him, and there's a pattern that repeats in almost all of our lives. And it's this: no matter what we do, no matter what we achieve, we end up encountering one struggle or the other. If one area of our life is getting sorted out, then another area of our life gets messed up and we are firefighting there. And over again, it doesn't matter how hard we work, it doesn't matter how hard we manifest, it doesn't matter how much we meditate on things. The problem that happens is the cycle of struggle keeps repeating and it exhausts us. So, if this is something that you've been going through, I want you to write I in the chat box and share that, yeah, I've been also noticing that this cycle of struggle is going on again and again in my life. That no matter what I do, I end up going back to the same problems in a different person, in a different situation, maybe in a different job, but the problems are always the same. And so this coachee that I was talking about, he had this exact same experience in multiple areas of his life. And I was having a conversation with him, a belief came up, and I'm sure this is a belief a lot of us hold on to as well. And it's this: my life, what can I do now? It's just a life full of struggle. How many of you have gotten to this point? We have started believing this fact that it's not even worth trying anymore, that life itself is going to be a struggle, there is going to be challenges, there are going to be problems, and I am going to suffer. How many of you are believing this about your life right now? Well, if you are, here's the truth: you are believing in a very dangerous lie, because you do not have to struggle, you do not have to face problems, you do not have to think of them like problems. What successful people have mastered is the art of dealing with problems without suffering. Think about it. Could you actually deal with your problems without suffering? We think suffering is a natural part for achieving success in life. We believe that if we don't suffer, we won't get the results. If we don't take action, we won't achieve the things that we want. And to some extent, that's true. But the truth is, suffering is not required. Action is required, yes. Is suffering required? Not at all. But we've gotten used to it, we've gotten habituated to it, and we've gotten in this position where I would say that it's a given now. We hear about it in so many self-help books, we hear about it in so many different people's success stories, where we've started to glorify suffering. We've started to make it seem like if you're not suffering, you're not going to achieve your goal. So struggle has become a non-negotiable part of our lives, but it doesn't have to be. You can create a successful life, you can live a successful life, and you can achieve anything and everything you want without any struggle. And here is how. So, when I talked about all of this with my coachee and I explained all these concepts to him, he said one thing that really struck out with me. He said, you know what? I do get that. I do understand it as a concept that, yeah, you don't have to struggle. But how do I actually implement it? Because all my life I've only been struggling. And that's when I asked him a question that literally made him take a big pause. And he was just sitting there like this with a deep, deep look of realization. He literally closed his eyes like this, had just done. That's the same question I want to ask you today. And it's this: all this while, you've been struggling, all this while you've been putting in the effort, all this while you've been suffering. How has that really worked out? How has it played out? I'm not saying believe me, I'm not saying don't disbelieve me. All I'm saying is let's look at the reality. Has suffering and struggle really worked for you the way that you want it to? What's the answer? Yes or no? Well, I believe and I know for sure the answer is probably no, because if it weren't, you wouldn't be here watching this video, right? You'd already be successful, you'd already be happy, you'd already be where you are. So I know for a fact that your answer to this question is definitely a no. So why do we spend our times holding on to a strategy that does not work? That's foolishness, right? If struggle is not working, if suffering is not working, let's try something else. And the something else is effortless action taking. Now, yesterday, when I was talking to you about that, I gave you a very beautiful example that you have to center yourself and come into the present moment to really take the actions that you need to make action taking effortless. To go into more details about that, you can check out yesterday's live session. But today, I want to help you make struggle a thing of the past in your life. Yes, it can be the case. Struggle and suffering and all these challenges can just be a thing of the past. And the only thing you need to do there is to love yourself and to connect with yourself. And now I know you're thinking, what's the connection here? Loving myself, connecting with myself, how does that lead to struggle? Well, that's where I now want to give you the complete breakdown of the story I was sharing with you since the start, because that will drive this point home and help you realize exactly the mistake you've been making. So I asked him to close his eyes and I asked him to imagine all the actions he'd ever taken every time his life had a problem, every time he had a challenge to deal with. And here's the mistake he would make: he would run away and he would escape. So, as a kid, the way he escaped was he would watch a lot of movies and he would watch a lot of TV shows, and he would do that till late in the night until he would realize, oh my God, I have homework to do now. So then he'd get on the work and he'd exhaust himself until sleep, only to repeat the cycle the next day again, drowning himself in information, drowning himself in so much entertainment, and then pushing himself to work till he was exhausted. This pattern kept repeating through his college. This pattern kept repeating now through his job that he was working in. And he was going through the same problems where he was unable to be productive, was unable to take action. Struggle was there in every single area of his life. And I asked him, well, go back to that 14-year-old version of you who was in that moment, who drowned himself in movies until he would have too much pressure of the deadline, and then he would just work and work and work, get the homework done only to exhaust himself to sleep. What was he really doing back then? And at first, he was a bit taken aback by this question. Like, yeah, he was watching movies. I was like, no. Why was he watching movies? Why was he exhausting himself to the edge? Why was he running away so much? And when I asked him this question, things clicked. And he realized, oh my God, I was running away from myself. I didn't want to face my truth. I didn't even want to have a conversation with myself because I didn't like who I was in that moment. I don't even know if I like myself right now. Then I told him, look, you've been spending so much time, more than 10 years now, in running away, in not having a conversation with yourself. Have you ever taken a moment to just sit with a pen and a paper, or to just sit in front of a mirror, or to just sit with yourself and ask yourself, well, how are you doing, buddy? What's going on in your life? Have you ever had a conversation with yourself? And he said, oh my God, no, I haven't. I've not done that. I've not taken action on it. I think I've never even considered myself a person that I could talk to. And because that connection inside was missing, every time he would get lonely, every time he would have some free time, he couldn't bear it. He couldn't stay comfortable with it. So he had to find something or the other to struggle for so he could push himself into that other zone. The lesson here is 90% of the struggle we go through in our life, 90% of it is created by us. It's created by us because we want to run away from something or the other. Now, for him, it was running away from himself. For you, I want you to ask this question and answer it honestly. In all the struggle that I'm creating in my life, and all the suffering that I'm creating in my life for no reason at all, what is it that I'm running away from? What is the truth that I am not willing to see? I know it's a bit of an uncomfortable question to ask, but it's an important one because it reconnects you to who you are. It allows you to once again start loving yourself the way you are. And the moment you do that, you're able to come back to this moment. You're able to come back to the present, and you're able to think without judgment. Okay, what are the actions that I need to take, and how can I take them? Now, there no excuses are there, no overthinking is there, no challenges are there, no barriers are there, nothing is there, no struggle is involved, because you have removed all the barriers, all the blockages, all the challenges by being honest with yourself. This is the most challenging thing for us to do at the start, but it's also the most rewarding, because we've gotten used to living a life on the defense. We've gotten used to living a life where we're always justifying ourselves. We're always trying to prove that, yes, I'm right. See, I know what I'm talking about. But that life is also exhausting you. That life is the reason you're struggling so much, because you're not willing to get in touch with yourself and be really honest with yourself. See, whether you're honest with other people or not, that's a different thing. That's a different story. You're not even getting there right now. But if you're not honest with yourself, your struggle will keep going, your suffering will keep going, because you will always find blame for your struggle and suffering somewhere else, in someone else, in some situation on the outside, in your job, in your relationship, in your career, in your health, wherever it is. You will find the reason for your struggle outside. You will find the reason for your problems outside, and then you will think, ah, what can I do? I always struggle. I always have to deal with challenges. Well, no, you don't have to. Because once you're honest with yourself, you can look inside and you can see what you are running away from. And when you see that and when you address that, action taking becomes very easy and very effortless for you. So, when my coach realized that he was running away from even having a conversation with himself because he didn't like himself, he started to change that. He started to spend some time with himself. He started to just be there for himself as a friend would. And guess what happened? His relationships improved out of nowhere. He started talking to his parents in a way that was much deeper and much better than anything he had done before. Creating connections started to feel easy, confidence came naturally, and the action he was not taking for months and months, in days he started taking that, and not with struggle, with ease, with relaxation, with true effortlessness. That's what successful people have mastered. They're not disciplined because they're punishing themselves now for a reward later in the future. They're disciplined because they love discipline, and they love discipline because they're honest with themselves and they know this is going to help them in the future. It's all a cycle that only goes upwards, but it begins by asking this question: what am I running away from? And am I really willing to be honest with myself? So, today, I want you to take these two questions as reflections along with you. What am I running away from? And am I really willing to be honest with myself? Resistance might come up, discomfort might come up, but it's okay. Let it be there. Face it, grow through it. This is actually what will help you get rid of your struggle and suffering and problems and pain in everything that you do. Challenges won't disappear, but the way you approach them will disappear, because you will be honest with yourself and you will be able to make the right decisions, to take the right actions very easily, very effortlessly. So, as you take this action step today, I don't want you to worry about anything else. I don't want you to think of another goal or anything we've covered in the past few days. If you've missed that out, all I want you to do is answer these two questions as willingly and as honestly as you can. You have the strength, you have the power, and you have the ability to truly, truly, truly make your life effortless. And if you really want to take this to the next level and you want to make sure that you go ahead with it, share the answers with me in the comment section. I'd love to be there for you. I'd love to help you. I'd love to support you in this journey, because every single day we are growing, every single day we are learning, every single day we are taking action steps towards becoming our best self. So, your comment would help me understand what you are struggling with as well. So, I can continue to choose relevant and important topics for you that help you take the action and truly achieve effortless success in your life. And this step is the most crucial one for that, where we get rid of complete struggle in our lives, not by fighting against something, but by learning how to be honest with ourselves about every single thing that we are doing. So stick with these two questions, share your answers, let this reflection sink in, and I'll see you once again tomorrow at exactly the same time at 8:30 p.m. Till then, keep rocking, keep shining. I'm here for you. I believe in your success, and I know you're going to do great things. See you soon. Bye.